Have you ever thought that some Pokemon just shouldn't exist? Now, I'm not talking about the boring ones or the ugly ones. I'm talking about the evolutions of Pokemon that were perfectly normal by themselves. Now, instead of rectifying Game Freak's mistakes, I decided to just hop on the bandwagon. Let's make some useless evolutions. Now, doing this is honestly harder than you'd think. Most Pokemon feel too big and too complete to have an evolution, and the other ones just feels like an evolution is pretty plausible. I'm trying to get Pokemon like Duraludon. How in the world did they make an evolution for Duraludon? I think Duraludon's like the only Pokemon I've used on a playthrough team that doesn't evolve. Anyway, enough about Duraludon. I'm making one for Palisand, because I feel like Palisand's complete enough. It has lore to it that I don't think it really needs expansion, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because that's kind of the whole point of the video. I wanted all the ghostly aspect of it to start like leaking out and stuff. Also kind of making its hands look like volcanoes because it's based on volcanic sand. And honestly, you could make a debate that every single Pokemon in this video could be a Mega. Whatever, because Archaludon could basically be a Mega of Duraludon. Anyway, more about Palisand. As I said, all the ghostly energy is leaking out of it, and you'll hear about it in its dex entry. And there's eyes peeking out of the castle, which is the Pokemon that it has attacked in like a physical like energy form. It's also getting pressed into its sand. So here's Specsandre.
Specsandre have lost control of the spiritual energy that they once used easily. The energy of their victims are now visible and are unruly, each atom of its spectral aura having its own mind and life.
This Pokemon become a pseudo-legendary like Duraludon? Comment your thoughts about that. How to make an evolution for the Croagunk line. I decided on making the Dartocroak evolution. Although a Gliscor evolution is probably the best idea for this, because Gliscor is like so cool. Really needs nothing, but could always have something. Anyway, now we're getting onto my Dartocroak evolution. Since Dartocroak has that little puff of hair, I decided to make it a full-on pompadour to make it sort of a mafia boss theme. I made its throat sac spiky and poisonous, and kind of resemble a little bit of a tie. You know, to even fit even more with the mafia theme. And I made its fingers poison darts so that it could actually shoot them and they could return back. I'm pretty sure Dartocroak can't do that, but there's probably an anime episode that I missed. He's a little bit stupid looking, honestly, but he's kind of like Magmortar and Electivire in that way. But overall, I'd say pretty cool.
Dartocroak leads its groups of its pure evolutions into fights, using its several poisonous spikes to defeat its enemies.
I think this is a really good, like, cherry on top to the line. This one kind of should have been a Mega. But midway through the design process, I kind of switched it into an evolution. So it's basically what if Sableye got an evolution instead of a Mega. I mean, honestly, Sableye is kind of deserving of an evolution. It's not really useless, but I guess there's not a lot of a reason to give him an evolution when it's Mega still a thing. This was originally just gonna be like a Z Mega, but I decided to change it and turn it into an actual evolution. I liked this pass, but I decided to, just turn it around and make it an actual evolution. Make it like bigger instead of just giving it a different concept. I referenced Diglett for the waist, and it'll explain in its dex entry. Here's Rubeye from Ruby and I. Its dex entry reads,
this Pokemon pops up from the cave floor to ambush its opponents, resulting in a solid rock shell encasing its waist.
You wouldn't even really see the bottom part of Rubeye, so it really is just like a Diglett, except way cooler. Now I'm gonna make a Stonejourner with several legs. I know, what a concept, but it's also gonna gain the fire typing, because what it's based on, Stonehenge, is actually heavily related to the sun and the whole cycle of the sun itself. Like seasons and stuff, that's what I meant. So the red parts are not actual fire, it's just a manifestation of how much heat is inside it. And I gave it more legs, not just to make it more detailed, but because its body, or head I guess, is a circle. So from the bottom, if it raises all its legs up, looks like the sun with rays. So here's Stonealtar from Stonehenge, Stone, and Altar, which is referencing the altar stone in Stonehenge.
This Pokemon is incredibly attracted to the sun. It uses its newfound solar powers to float and rotate its legs for devastating fiery attacks.
Usually you wouldn't see it walking around like this, but in battle it would be floating. Kind of like how a Metagross floats, with instead its legs floating and spinning, not just being, whatever. You could acquire this Pokemon once you get Solar Beam on your Stonejourner. I really like their two names, Stonejourner and Stonealtar. I think it's fun. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Give me any other Pokemon that you think don't deserve evolutions so I can give them evolutions, I guess. And go ahead and hype the video if you think that more people should see this. A couple likes, a couple subs, a couple hypes, they go a long way, okay? So thank you so much in advance. Alright, bye, sub and like.